As suggested by NASA vs. Pete, Duck Boy music, please. We interrupt this program for the following important message. This video response to hoax nut NASA vs. Pete was almost finished when he decided he no longer believed the moon landings were faked. The official statement from Astrobrand Studios on this remarkable development was,
"That's good. One less thing."
So, let's start all over. It didn't seem right to let the whole video go to waste, because I've discovered some things which should be of interest to hoax nuts and Apollo defenders alike. So, this video will be the fourth in my series where I use a photo or video clip which has been popular among hoax nuts, and I find something in it which debunks their own claims. This picture has attracted a lot of attention from the Apollo deniers because the shadows aren't parallel. Gerald White has made a considerable fuss over it. The reason for unparalleled shadows has been explained many times. BlisterHiker has done a couple of very QED quality videos on the subject. One YouTuber by the name of Stickings90 made this simple but very revealing video.
This is early in the morning, around about 7:17 in the morning outside a local petrol station. Now you can see that shadow going up that way, and that one in the distance going in a different way. If you were to draw construction lines, you'll see that they all meet. They're therefore not parallel, and this is from a single light source, the sun.
Here is the famous photo which hoax nuts love to use, but which provides enough ammunition to blow their puerile shadow evidence out of the water. These are points which are mentioned in videos by BlisterHiker and other debunkers. I won't attempt to illustrate those, but rather will add three more arguments which I have not seen in other videos. First, it is very difficult to determine the actual angle of a shadow cast by an irregular shaped or roundish object. Second, the angle of an object itself affects the apparent angle of its shadow. And finally, optical illusions can affect our judgment of receding angles in perspective. Here's an example of how the shape and angle of the object itself can throw off our perception. I've obscured the terrain in order to remove clues. In which direction is the object that is casting this shadow, or which direction is the sun? If you guessed this was, you were wrong. They are in this direction. Now for the big anomaly in 20744. Some hoax nuts say the shadow of that rock is going that way. I think that's a bit of a stretch. It looks more like it's going that way. But this rock is on an inclined surface and is somewhat elongated and probably protruding toward us, so it's really more likely going in that direction, similar to the shadow of this rock. Let's have a look at a part of this picture which completely debunks the multiple lighting claims. These two shadows appear to be going different directions. If they were converging as they recede, then it could be due to perspective. But these are diverging. Hoax nuts would say it is because they are lit from different directions. This one from that direction and this one from that direction. But that is impossible, and here's why. The lights casting these two shadows would have to be in this direction for that shadow and in this direction for that one. That means this rock is farther from the light source that cast that shadow than this rock is. So its shadow would be going approximately the same direction. The fact is that these rocks would each be casting two shadows. I'm not interested in any arguments about this. Just make a video showing this effect using two light sources, and I'll give you $1,000. Okay? Put up or shut up. Details in the description box below. Look at the shadows of these rocks. No problem if they're far apart, but what makes this interesting is that the two shadows are right next to each other and appear to be on level surface. What could be causing such a difference in angle? It could relate to the shapes or angles of the rocks themselves, but is there actually a significant difference in the angle? Watch this. Incredibly, by just switching sides, they look almost exactly parallel. A couple years ago I discovered this optical illusion on the Mighty Optical Illusions website. It was their winner for Best Illusion in 2007. It's hard to believe, but the two pictures are identical. They are the same picture, with no tilting. With all of these factors considered, it's unreasonable to think that because there are little differences in shadow angles, that multiple light sources must have been used. Armed with their high school diplomas, or less, and their imponderable egos, hoax nuts pour into the fray with their shadow and reflection arguments, believing they are so smart and that none of the concentration of real geniuses at NASA would ever consider such things. I don't know what's more annoying, their ignorance about Apollo and inability to figure out the simplest things, or their failure to grasp just what kind of mind it takes to become a top rocket scientist. Even if Apollo was faked, the people at NASA would know better than to make such middle schoolish mistakes as using multiple lighting sources.